Hi, I'm going to make you a promise. I will make you a better pool player today, and all you need to do is watch this video to the end. I can make that promise because I'm going to show you a bunch of shots that aren't well known, but they will make you win more frames, and they're so simple to play you'll be able to go into a table today and play them first time. Although they're easy to play, it's not actually obvious how to play them. Sometimes people are kind enough to tell you, but mostly they like to keep it a secret. So the players who do know them tend to figure them out themselves, but it can take years to learn these tricks. Fortunately, I'll show you all 5 and I'll play them in order of how well known they are, so please keep watching to the end for the more rare ones. But without further ado, let's check these bad boys out. The first shot is the one that's most well known, but I guarantee every single player has messed it up at some point. If you haven't, then you must be a goddamn genius. You may not be a genius like Forrest Gump, but hopefully you're familiar with plants. No, not those ones. I'm talking pool plants. It's when you get at least 2 balls near each other and they're kind of pointed towards the pocket. If you're lucky, they'll be in a perfect line and therefore almost impossible to miss. A more common plant is when they're not in a perfect line for the pocket and there's a slight gap between them. To play this shot, you need to work out where to contact the first ball in order to pot the second one. Quite often you'll notice players doing this. What they're doing is visualising where to contact the first ball. If the balls are nearly in a line and there's not a big gap between them, then this plant can also be quite easy. The last plant, however, is the one that can make you look silly. We've got 2 balls lined up roughly in the same direction as the last one, so we should aim in the same place again, right? Wait, what? Why have they gone in the wrong direction? It's because the balls were touching each other, and when they're touching, you need to play what's known as a reverse plant. This is where you actually contact the opposite side of the first ball from what you'd expect. When we do this, we can now pot the ball. That was an easy one to start with, but remember, they will get more rare as the video goes on. Next, I'm going to show you the cut break. See, I've called it cut the cheese because the balls are like a wedge of cheese and you're playing a cut break. No? Anyway, you've probably seen it hundreds of times before and are saying, Dave, why the hell is this even on the list?
Dave, why the hell is this even on the list?
Well, drum roll please. It's because of my top secret, totally amazing, I'm now going to win every frame way of playing it. And I really don't want anyone to know about it. But I'll let you know in a second. I found a way to pot off the break 80% of the time. Seriously, I just broke 50 times and potted in 40 of them. I can tell you which balls I'm going to pot, which pocket I'll pot them in, where the cue ball will land, and where the other balls will cluster. Let's look at it in action. Like most cut breaks, I place the cue ball near the baulk line. Most people will then move the ball near the cushion so that they can get a fuller contact. However, I find that means that you sacrifice power in the shot. So to get more power, I move the cue ball in and bridge over the pocket instead. From here, I aim as if I'm trying to pot the yellow ball in this pocket. Now we want to hit the cue ball just below centre, as it means that we can get a lot of power in the shot and it reduces the risk of the ball flying off the table. I mentioned I could predict a few things, so here goes. If I hit the break properly, then this yellow ball will move towards the middle pocket, these 2 balls will bounce off that cushion and head for the same middle, and these ones at the back will also head towards these corner pockets. The cue ball will hit around here on the cushion and back into the cluster of balls. This helps keep it in the middle of the table and away from any pockets. As a bonus, you might notice the cut break tends to keep the 2 colours close together rather than spread out all over the table, which makes the finish a lot easier. Let me know if you've done this before. You're on the yellows, and to pot your ball you need to play a combo or skill shot. Because you want your ball to follow through, you put topspin on the cue ball and hit it quite hard. But this happens. It looks so easy, yet most players have made this mistake at some point. There is one key point to playing this shot properly, and that's to get your object ball rotating as quickly as possible. To do that, there are 2 ways. First, The biggest factor is the pace you play the shot at. The harder you hit the ball, the more difficult you make it. And the reason for this is because you're not giving the ball time to rotate. When you hit the ball hard, it skids or slides before it starts rotating forwards. If it's still sliding when it comes into contact with the second ball, then it's not going to follow through. So the softer you hit the shot, the more chance you give it. The second way to get the ball rotating quicker is to put spin on the cue ball. You may be aware that you can use side spin to deflect the object ball off its natural path. For example, on a shot like this, I can't see enough of the potting angle. However, I can make the pot by using side spin to throw the object ball offline. On that shot, we put less spin on the cue ball and it deflects the object ball to the right. Putting right spin on the cue ball would deflect it to the left. At this point, you may be asking, Dave, why are you telling me about side spin?
Dave, why are you talking to me about side spin?
Well, if we can use side spin on the cue ball to throw the object ball in the opposite direction, then is it possible to put backspin on the cue ball to throw the object ball forward instead, and thus improving our chances of making the shot? It's obviously not visible, but it does seem to make it easier. However, sometimes you'll come across a skill shot and putting backspin on it just doesn't work for you position wise. Don't worry though, you can still make the shot with topspin, centre ball and even side spin. And that's because, as we already said, it's the pace that's most important. Bonus time, my friends. I'm going to give you 2 shots for the price of 1 here. But before I do, can I quickly ask, if you're enjoying this video, then please hit the like button. It's down there somewhere. And if you haven't subscribed, then what are you waiting for? Anyway, there's something that keeps me awake at night. And that's when I have to play the cue ball onto a cushion with some kind of spin. The reason being is that sometimes it reacts completely the opposite way from what you might think. For example, you would expect if you play a topspin shot that the cue ball will bounce quickly off the cushion and move quite far down the table.
Wrong.
Let me show you an extreme example. Here, you can see I put a lot of topspin on the ball. After it hits the cushion, that topspin is forcing it back towards the cushion. The reason this happens is because the cue ball is rotating that way. This will happen even when you hit it much softer, and we can use that knowledge to our advantage. Let's say you need to play a safety shot. You want to send the 8 ball down the table and leave the cue ball there, so you decide to play cushion first. You might think, because you want to stop the cue ball, you should put backspin on it. But remember our first example? When you put topspin on it, the cue ball is rotating that way even after it hits the cushion. So when it contacts 8 ball, it reacts kind of like backspin and stops. Here's a bonus shot. We'll use that same principle and apply it in a slightly different way. In this example, I'm going to pot the red ball and I want to get positioned down the other end of the table. So I need to put backspin on the ball, and as I want the cue ball to travel to the right, I put right hand spin on it. But it doesn't work out. Hands up, who's done that before? That happened because if you put bottom right on the ball, it's rotating that way. When it hits the object ball and screws back to the cushion, it's still rotating that way, which is wrong for this shot. So instead, play with the opposite spin from where you want the cue ball to travel. In this instance, it would be bottom left. And look at the difference. Don't aim at the pocket. Yeah, right. That must be the dumbest advice I've ever heard. Well, stick with me and I'll show you why it makes sense. There's one shot in pool that many players aim differently to every other shot and they don't even know it. In fact, it's probably the reason they miss it. If we've got a shot like this, most of us will aim to pot it right in the centre of the pocket. That means if we hit slightly to the left or to the right, we can still pot it. By aiming at the centre, we give ourselves a bit of a safety net in case we misjudge it slightly. But there's a shot where many of us don't give ourselves a safety net. Look at this shot and be honest. Where would you aim? Probably directly for the opening of the pocket, right? That means if you hit the shot well, then you'll pot it. And if you hit it slightly to the left, you'll also pot it. But, and it's a big but and I cannot lie, if you hit slightly to the right, then you'll always miss this shot. This means you've got rid of your safety net.
You crazy daredevil, you!
Here's what to do instead. Don't aim at the pocket. You want to aim for the near knuckle. This means if you hit that knuckle, you'll pot the ball. And if you hit slightly to the left, you'll still pot the ball. But now, you've given yourself that margin for error on the right, where you can also pot the ball. Told you I could make it make sense. I came up with loads of shots for this video, and these were actually the most common ones. There were another 5 that are very rare, and they're covered in this video. Now, I've had more likes and messages of thanks on that video than any other that I've ever done before. If you want to find out why so many people liked it and learn some great shots that will improve your game more, then please watch now.